the fundamental question is visualization of you not being in the world, I think is the essence of what creativity is I think every time I write a book, the visualization is I am not in this book. I am visualizing a world without me in it, from book to book. And I think in some ways, maybe an artist has a better preparation for death than most, because we go through the process of a visualization and creating a world that is independent of us. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds good. I was just thinking about the whole business you were saying about not being in the book, and my peak experience as a musician playing is when I'm not there. It's like the teenage experience I was talking about. I wasn't there. There was no William. And I think about there being some kind of system that's this universe that has energy, that has whatever it has in it, that's just going on, whether I'm in it, whether I'm not in, whether anyone's in it or not. There's a system, and I wonder, it's like the pantheists would say that the universe is consciousness. All is consciousness. And, there's something about that just feels at least very possible. I don't like belief systems very much. I don't want to say I believe this, but that seems very possible, that there is an awareness, and certainly ecologically, and in terms of the planet, and in terms of biological forms, there is some kind of shared awareness that I've had, and I've either hallucinated it or it's there to be had, and I'm not sure which is true. Maybe they're both true.
But there's this Vietnamese monk who's apparently highly revered near death, and there's been some stuff on the internet that he has said. But one of the things, I can't remember his name at this moment, but the essence of what he said is that there's a level of existence that has always been there, and he says, I've never been born and I never die. Birth and death are just opening one door and going in another door, but you've never actually left the building. The building is a place where you've always been and always will be. That going from room to room, whether you call it birth and death, is part of a process of what existence in a fundamental way actually is. And that what we perceive it to be as just those two doors. You open the one door, you're born, and you walk down that corridor, and the longer you walk down that corridor, the more you know you're going to get closer to the other door, and you're going to walk through that door, and it closes behind you, and it all goes dark.
Or all goes light.
All goes light. And so that's what causes the existential anxiety that a lot of people have, is they just see it as two doors in a corridor, and they want to know where they are along the corridor themselves, along with others, what their status is, what their reputation. They're carrying all of that baggage with them, and it slows them down, makes them drag, makes them unhappy, because they feel that somehow it's unfair. They want to be back closer to the door they came into rather than the door they're going out.
Well, we're individual as part of it. We're separate individuals, and that we're consistent and solid, and that we ourselves. And this is, to me, this is the interesting part of particularly the Buddhist tradition, but also in Taoism and Hinduism. In the Buddhist tradition, anatta, or no self, is the basic fact. There isn't a self. There's no Williams. There's no Christophers. There's the hallucination of Williams and Christophers as a result of what they call the skandhas or khandhas, which are thinking, sensation, feeling, these various sensory or intellectual experiences that we have that are built into these organisms, and we identify with those as being our experience. I feel angry. Well, as soon as I put the I on there, I've created a William. Rather than anger is moving through me, and everything is shifting and changing, as we were talking about earlier. So the I that I am is shifting and changing. I mean, I sit with Christopher, and there's a Christopher William I, which is always shifting and changing. But when I'm sitting with somebody else, it's a different configuration. And I have the hallucination that somehow there's a consistent William that's moving through it. But science says that I'm getting, recycled every 7 years. All of me is recycled. Right. None of it's the same.
None of it is original. Yeah. Every single atom of your body has been replaced since the